So, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway is a tragic story of a Cuban fisherman in the Gulf Stream and the giant marlin he kills and loses. That's what the back of the book says, and that is literally what it is about. This book is short and direct, and I didn't enjoy reading it that much. I know that it received really high acclaim when it came out and still today, but I thought it was kind of boring. This is only 127 pages, and it's very generously laid out, like it's pretty big print. There's a brief introduction, and then between pages 30 and 96, we're basically following the old man named Santiago trying to reel in this giant fish as it pulls him further and further away from the shore. Around page 60 is when I realized that this book description was not kidding. Like, it really is just a story of a single fish he's trying to catch, which is fine. On his journey, he basically talks out loud to himself about like God and perseverance and brotherhood and baseball. So there's a lot of really great lines and concepts in here. Like throughout the journey, he's kind of treating this fish that he's trying to catch and kill as like a brother, and he sees the strength of this fish and its like determination to live as really something to be admired. Then he was sorry for the great fish that had nothing to eat, and his determination to kill him never relaxed in his sorrow for him. How many people will he feed, he thought. But are they worthy to eat him? No, of course not. There is no one worthy of eating him from the manner of his behavior and his great dignity. I do not understand these things, he thought. But it is good that we do not have to try to kill the sun or the moon or the stars. It is enough to live on the sea and to kill our true brothers. So, the book is good. There's a lot of value. How am I trying to phrase this? Oh boy. I mean, I already said I don't like it. So, the book is good. Like, especially going back and like rereading and like these individual passages, it does add another dimension to it that I think I should have seen like while I was reading it through the first time. But when I was reading it, the only thing I could think of was I don't care about fishing. And to be honest, I did feel like guilty that my disinterest in the subject matter did kind of make me miss out on like the quality that's like very clearly there. But then again, I am way past the age where I should ever have to do homework again. And I already know that I enjoy reading. So what am I trying to prove, and to who? I did get two things out of this book. Number one, he mentions a lot of different fish in this book, and I recognize most of the names from Stardew Valley. And then number two, this is something that like everyone talks about when it comes to Hemingway, but he does have such a distinct style. Entirely subjectively, I'm not a huge fan of like the actual voice, but in terms of the craft, I like really respect it, and I think that there's a lot that I personally can learn from it as someone who perhaps can be a little overly wordy and unnecessarily descriptive of maybe things that don't always need to be. Any other source will explain this more effectively than me. But basically Hemingway came up with like the iceberg theory, which is like a really minimalistic way of writing through omission rather than inclusion. Basically, the more complex elements of the story are hidden under what is superficially happening. You know, so like The Old Man and the Sea is about like, you know, the old man trying to catch this fish, but underneath everything, like it's obviously not about that. So in Hemingway's own words, if you leave out important things or events that you know about, the story is strengthened. If you leave or skip something because you do not know it, the story will be worthless. So like he is incredibly smart with what he chooses to emphasize and describe and what he chooses to like not bring up. He also uses very basic syntax and like minimal punctuation. Like he very rarely uses anything but like periods and commas, which I think can be really effective because it's very deceptively simple. Like, you can be reading it and it allows you the space to figure out what is happening underneath, like, what you're directly reading is happening. I tried reading Food of the Gods by H.G. Wells immediately after finishing this, and I literally couldn't get past the first 3 pages. They were so different, but the Food of the Gods was the sentences were like so long and like just a lot. I might try reading that again, but like 3 pages in, I was like, I can't do this right now. Not after Old Man in the Sea. So yeah, I mean, all of that said, I think it is really effective, but again, the subject matter was about fishing, which I don't care about fishing. And that's where I am with this book. I totally understand that the aspects that I find incredibly boring about it are like the exact things that make it so valuable and, especially for its time, so innovative. But I'm still not interested, and you can't make me read deeper into it because fish are gross and you're not my dad, okay? Actually, fish are very cool and very scary, but fishing makes me lose interest like immediately. Anyway, I can't not recommend this book because it is so short, and admittedly it did get like my gears turning, but I am also comfortable in admitting that it just wasn't really my thing, and if based on what I'm saying about it you don't think it would be yours either, you'd probably be right. Alright, see you on a different day for a different review. Bye! I really can't believe this is my notebook for writing like notes for my reviews and stuff, and I've had it since July 31st, 2015. Or I've started writing it then. So that gives you an idea of how sparsely I do these reviews.